A scroll arrives in the late hours of the day. The sun hangs low in the Roman sky, casting long, tired shadows across the marble floors. A palace guard, his face a mask of duty, carries the scroll into the heart of the Senate chamber. The object itself is unassuming, a simple roll of papyrus bound tightly with a strand of coarse twine. Holding it all together is a seal of deep red wax. The wax bears a familiar mark, the personal sigil of a general known to all men present. It is a symbol of strength. It is a symbol of past victories, won at the very edges of the empire. A senator chosen for the task takes the scroll. He holds a small, sharp blade. The air in the great stone hall seems to grow still. The faint scrape of metal against twine. A soft, sharp crack as the blade slices through the wax. The seal breaks apart, its two halves falling away like broken promises. The paper, now free, uncurls with a dry whisper. A letter lies within, its ink dark against the pale surface, waiting to deliver its heavy message. The timeline of an empire dotted with glory now approaches a new, darker mark. The man who wrote them is not here to speak them aloud, to lend his voice and his presence to their weight. The letter must speak for itself, a silent messenger in a room filled with powerful, breathing men. He clears his throat, a small, human sound in the vast, echoing space. He is about to read words that will offer Rome a choice between its pride and its survival. It is a quiet scene, one that history would later record with ferocious clarity. The letter is from Flavius Stilicho, forged on the frontier, a Vandal by birth. He rose to become master of soldiers, the most powerful general in the Western Roman Empire. Not a soft capital politician, a warrior. He has saved Rome from invasion before. Not a scholar's flowing prose, a soldier's blunt urgency, a danger no longer rumor, a present gathering threat. The Visigoths, led by their king Alaric, marching unified and determined at the gates of Italy, open the imperial treasury. Give Alaric the gold he demands. Pay them the tribute they ask. Pay them to leave in peace. Or prepare to fight them within our own lands. If you hesitate, Rome will burn. The words land like stones in the quiet hall. The senator finishes reading. He lowers the papyrus and a heavy silence fills the chamber for a heartbeat. Then, the silence is broken. Not with debate, nor with solemn contemplation, but with a ripple of disdainful murmurs that grows into open laughter. Men clad in the fine white wool of their togas, symbols of their status and their Roman purity, turn to one another with disbelief and contempt. The idea of paying a barbarian chieftain to simply go away strikes them as utterly absurd, a profound insult to their dignity. Their voices rise, echoing off the cold stone walls. They sip from goblets of watered wine, their gestures languid and assured.
A traitor, Stilicho is a Vandal himself.
He conspires with his barbarian kin to weaken us, to empty our coffers. The room fills with a chorus of agreement, a wave of suspicion and arrogance washing over the general's stark warning. Only a few men remain silent. Older senators who remember other crises, other moments when the empire seemed to teeter on the brink. The prevailing mood is one of defiant pride. They are Romans. They do not pay tribute, they command it. They do not bow to threats. They crush them under the heels of their legions. In the end, the decision is swift and nearly unanimous. The debate is a formality. They will not open the treasury. The letter from their greatest general is casually tossed aside, a forgotten scrap of paper in a grand hall. 3 days pass. Then, on a moonless night, a strange orange glow flickers against the clouds on the city's northern edge. Soon, the smell arrives, the acrid scent of wood smoke, burning thatch, carried on the night breeze. The distant sounds of shouting grow louder, closer. Panic begins as a whisper and becomes a scream through the heart of the city. People pour into the streets, their faces pale with terror. The Visigoths are not at the gates. They are inside them, the Salarian gate opened from within. A betrayal born of desperation or greed, long denied their gold. They pour into the city not as negotiators, but as conquerors. Rome, untouched by foreign enemies for 8 centuries, now opens like a ripe fruit split by a blade. Fires blossom in the narrow streets, consuming homes, shops, public buildings. Smoke, thick and black, billows into the sky, obscuring the stars. Disciplined soldiers, outnumbered and caught by surprise, fight and die in scattered pockets of hopeless resistance. The city burns for 3 days. Temples are looted, sacred relics stolen. Statues of emperors and heroes topple, their faces cracking on unforgiving stone. Libraries, centuries of knowledge, are consumed. Their scrolls turn to black ash. The wealth of the world is carried off in rough sacks. The proud city becomes a tomb. The loss is absolute. The scene is raw. The loss feels total. The fall echoes as inevitability. We see arrogance and ruin as a clear line of cause and effect. People ask if the choice truly mattered. If one letter, one decision, the question hangs in the air, heavy with what was lost. It is a question of responsibility, foresight, the tragic nature of human pride. But now, let us pause. Let us rewind the tape of history to that quiet moment in the Senate Hall. Let us ask a more hopeful question. What if? What if the laughter had died in their throats? What if, instead of mockery, a thoughtful silence had fallen upon the room? What if they had listened not to wounded pride, but to their most capable general, seen the wisdom in his words, the cold, hard logic of survival? What if they had chosen to open the treasury, to pay the Visigoths, to buy the one commodity more precious than gold, time? Imagine this alternate path. The gold is brought out from the deep vaults. Coins ring as they are poured into heavy leather sacks. Carts rumble through the streets toward the gates. Roman envoys meet Alaric and his leaders. No grand speeches. The exchange is tense and practical. They offer gold, shipments of grain, fine leather, barrels of wine, wealth for peace, asking the Visigoths to turn back. Alaric sees fortune and certainty where siege means risk. After tense negotiation, they agree. They take the gold. Columns of riders, once poised to strike, turn their horses and ride away. The immediate danger passes. A great sigh of relief washes over the city. The fires never start. Temples stand, statues keep their faces, and that night people sleep safely, unaware of how close they came to ruin. In the Senate, relief and shame mix. They have paid a ransom and set a precedent. Paying the Visigoths buys one critical thing: time, a small coin with immense purchasing power. Time allows a nation to regroup, reassess, plan. Time trains recruits, fortifies weak points, plants and harvests, refills granaries. Most importantly, time lets leaders see the empire's fragility. Survival requires more than pride and old memories. In this unfolding timeline, the Senate's relationship with Stilicho is transformed, no longer a suspicious outsider but the clear-eyed savior of the city. They cease their mockery and begin to listen. They present him not with more power but with a shield of honor. Stilicho does not seize control. He argues for change from within, his soldiers' bluntness now a respected voice. He calls for new walls, stronger fortifications, a reformed military. Humbled by near death, the Senate learns to balance pride with pragmatism and to spend differently. More funds go to legions, soldiers well paid, well equipped, loyal. Public works, speed troops and grain. Diplomats negotiate small tributes, quell unrest. Granaries and aqueducts renewed. Ostia expands and trade returns. Not conquest, but maintenance and foresight. Together, they add up. The city grows steadier. Civic pride returns. This different set of choices leads to a profoundly different legacy. In this alternate history, Rome does not fall in 410 AD. The city endures. Monuments to pragmatic leadership rise beside the ancient columns. Poets write odes to peace and prudence, not only epic tales of war. Children chase pigeons in forums, laughter in a city that chose survival. Latin and Roman law continue to evolve, shaping centuries from a position of unbroken continuity. Without the sack, refugees do not flood provinces. Enriched by tribute rather than plunder, Visigoths settle by negotiation. Old enemies grow into trading partners through commerce and cautious diplomacy. Ambitious generals still plot, provinces still rebel, climate and decay persist, yet the core stands firmer. The lesson of 410 becomes a cornerstone. It reveals the tension between honor and action, between appearing strong and doing what is necessary to remain strong. In countless stories, a small word, a single act, can change the course of fate. A phone call made, a letter answered, a door left open, a hand offered in peace. These are the pivot points of our lives, moments to listen, to show courage, to do what is necessary. Stilicho's forgotten letter tells us to weigh risk and reward, to measure wounded pride against physical safety. Sometimes the right course is a quiet, humble, costly choice in a closed room. Both paths, ruin and survival, teach the same lesson. Empires endure through small daily acts, and leaders who choose survival over vanity. We picture the seal, broken in arrogance or sliced with care, the letter buried in ash or preserved in an enduring city, the cool, heavy coin passing from one hand to another. One letter, one path taken, one path ignored, the world turns on such small hinges.